And once again, this is day 3 of the Tomorrow Conference, and I can't believe it's already the last day of the conference. Honestly, it's been a wonderful journey so far. It's been a wonderful experience. Looking back, I can't believe how much we have progressed with this journey, honestly, starting with Belgrade quite a while back, moving the event to Dubai, being right here once again, the beautiful city of Belgrade, and then next up, we're going to have Barcelona, followed by Dubai and Miami. So honestly, guys, just looking back, you can't help but get a little bit emotional when you think about the last day and the events coming to a close. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for our last panel of the day, it is time to delve into a conversation that touches our hearts and stirs our spirits. Our next panel, titled Life is Lived, moderated by a woman who has been a beacon of emotional support and suicide prevention since 1991. She's a seasoned veteran. She's been a director, marketing coordinator, project coordinator, and currently a supervisor at the NGO. This here is a Serbian word, which means heart. Maybe you can correct me. Is it Srce? How do you say heart in Serbian? Maybe somebody can help me out. Srce, that is the name of the NGO, and that is, by the way, a cool first word for me to learn in Serbian, heart. So, and she's bringing a heart of compassion and wisdom to the stage. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me with a warm round of applause. Welcome to the stage, our final and last panel with our amazing moderator, Tanja Bokun. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. Tanja, love your work, honestly. The stage is yours, guys. Enjoy it, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hello.
Hello, good to meet you, Dušan.
Look at this, such a great
Hello,
We get to meet each other. Yay.
So it doesn't matter what.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. And thank you for joining us this panel. Life is Live. Thank you very much for dedicating this Sunday afternoon for being us today. And first of all, it is my great pleasure to present my panelists today. The first, Scott Page, I would say musician, technologist, entrepreneur, and probably many, many more things. On my other side, Dušan Kovačević, founder and director of famous Exit Festival. Yeah, applause for both of them, I would say. The next panelist, Snežana Klašnja, advisor of Minister for Tourism and Youth for Youth Policy.
Yes, hi.
Thank you. And Bojana Jevtović, advisor to the Adolescent and Youth Development Program of UNICEF.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I will give a word to Dušan, who will address with some introductory words.
Okay, I'll stand up, it's easier for me. So first, thank you all for coming here to listen to this very, very important topic. We have, and also gratitude to Tomorrow Conference that actually decided to close this conference with this topic and to show with that symbolically how important the subject is that we will be talking about. And what we will be talking about? We'll be talking about digital addiction. Exit Festival as one of the leading youth brands in Europe and somebody that care very deeply about the audience that come to our festival, we are very well aware how deep this problem is. At the moment, digital addiction is bigger than all other addictions, so alcohol, narcotic, tobacco, gambling, all other addictions put in combined at this moment. And what is the biggest problem is that this is still not recognized by all expert community because technology is moving so fast that people who are responsible for tracking all this and driving our society in good direction are not able to track how deep, how very fast these changes are happening. And this is only with internet, mobile phones, and social networks. And now comes the era of Web3, comes the era of metaverse, comes the era of artificial intelligence. So the speed will be even next level. So we need to start speaking about this. So decades ago, society managed to fight the battle against tobacco industry and to put warning signs on tobacco industry and to restrict use of tobacco in many public spaces. We need, I'm not saying that technology is same as tobacco industry, but technology needs to understand that there is a deep issues with the overuse of what we have available today. And with that comes deep responsibility. So we need this conversation to happen. And it's amazing that a technology conference like tomorrow is putting this attention to this topic. And I'm so happy that we will speak about this today. And I will want to say another thing. With deep tragedy that happened in Serbia last week, I would say this is one of the last wake-up calls for many issues when it comes to the mental health of youth. But I think this is now time to start speaking about the issue of digital addiction more and more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dušan, a lot. Yeah, definitely digital technologies are a very important issue. And I would like to start with you, Scott. As one of pioneers, I would say, in this area, and somebody who is very much involved, I would like to ask you what new technologies have brought and what they will bring in the future to entertainment, to industry, to connection, to music, and can we already talk about dark or backside of it?
Well, listen, first of all, I'm so thankful we're on. I mean, this is the most important thing we can talk about right now. There is nothing more important, because if you look at what's happening is the algorithms are making us crazy. We're all getting beat up. I'm going to just recommend anybody, if you haven't seen Social Dilemma, go see that movie, just at least get yourself up to speed on what's happening, because we got to worry about the children at this state. I truthfully believe we're in a spiritual war right now between good and evil. And the people running these algorithms and running this stuff, that's what we have to be care about. We need conscious leaders. Consciousness leaders, consciousness is really the key. And I believe that the real savior of this is somebody taking an inward journey, learning how to break out of the matrix and be able to see what's happening. So technologies, yeah, I mean, we're going through of any time now with AI. I mean, this is crazy what's going on. And most people don't know. You guys have an idea because you're in the game. You're here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't in the game. But all these other people, they're like, oh man, this is just a great little fun tool. Oh, these are just tools. No. This is much more. This is learning. And with this whole idea of addiction, we've got to get it to where we get that out of kids. I see my neighbors and their 7-year-old, 8-year-old kids are carrying around cell phones. It's crazy, and it's creating this thing. So there are so many things that are coming down the pike. I think conscious leaders are going to be the main things. And as far as tools, entertainment, we all as entertainers, as people, we start to have to be more conscious about the mediums that we're putting out. We got to be more thoughtful about what we're doing, because especially when you're looking at what's going on globally, right? If you look at today, if you look at TikTok, I think very dangerous tool. That tool is about as dangerous as it gets. If you go over, you go look at us, I'm looking at young girls doing things and stuff, and verbing words and stuff coming out of it, and teaching things about, being an influencer, and what does that mean, right? So this all starts to get kind of funky. But then you go over to China, and you look at what they're teaching them. Go to school, get math, get everything. So we need to get those leaders that are going to start to basically make sure that we're giving the information. Get it? Because remember, freedom is a double-edged sword. We love freedom, and I'm a stone-cold capitalist, as high as it gets, but conscious capitalism. because it's freedom, it's a sense, it's not in, because I'm concerned about when any group of people start telling me what I need to do or what we should have. So this is a very, very critical moment, and I think the entertainment industry, I think everybody, especially the entertainment industry, needs to get in the game, and we need those strong music leaders to stand up and not get pulled into the dang rabbit hole of the money and the things, because we can do good at the same time. So we need conscious people to make this happen.
Yeah, you talk about consciousness, and you...
Thank you.
Right. You talk about consciousness, and you talk about dangerous stuff. Do you think it is possible to make those things, in other words, safer, more reachable? And what do you think? Why does this technology developing so quickly?
Well, I mean, at the quantum level, we're just a vibration. We're a note. We're just this table is like me at the quantum level. Everything. So there's a case to be made that basically we're changing. Personally, I think people don't realize we're designing ourselves out right now. Every day, when you go in and start putting prompts into that machine, you know what you're doing? You're feeding that machine. You're putting all your data, all your knowledge, everything into that machine. Now there's like the gold rush days, because they're hiring all the experts in real estate and all forms of businesses to feed this thing all day long with their knowledge, and it's just sucking it up. So we're now turning this thing into being a living, breathing thing. Now, here's an example I thought was great. So this girl, big influencer, she just turned herself into a virtual character and became, she's a big influencer, and so she can be your girlfriend for $1 a day. She's gonna go to $5 million a month very shortly. But what happened is now it's all turning into pornography. They're turning her persona into this and now she's freaking out because that wasn't her persona. She was always nice and clean. And now the engines, the AI, the stuff that's being it. And the biggest thing that we gotta be careful of is the bias that can be put into these machines, right? Remember, whoever controls the algorithms controls the people, controls the whole thing. So it's very, very, very touching. We all have to get educated. And if we gotta get our children, we gotta make sure we take care of them and make sure they don't. Do not put that phone in their head when they're young. They don't need a phone. I know it's a babysitter and it's a cool thing, it'll keep them busy and take it off you, but they need you. We need to do one of the greatest statements in the world. Stop and smell the roses, right? That's all about presence. Wake up enough to be aware. But we get locked in the ego and the insanity of the egoic mind, and we don't realize that what we're doing, right? Remember, we've got to forgive everybody for they know not what they do, because they're lost in the matrix. So we have to learn how to get out of the matrix. We got to come up with programs to keep people out. We got to keep those things out of the schools for kids in the early days. We have to. It's all sounded good. We're going to make them learn, and you're not going to be a digital vibe. But what happens in the next stage of kids when they're not like us going into AI, they just grow up with it. Now it's just, this is crazy, right? So we're watching one of the most incredible, we're gonna go through, I think, one of the most wildest things any of us have ever seen, humanity's ever seen, and it's going down fast. So this topic, we must get a handle on this, otherwise it's not a pretty outcome.
Thank you very much, Scott. Yes. Actually, I think you just brought maybe the key question: what's going to happen to those kids in the future? And I think we have good panelists for that question. So, Snežana, I would like to ask you, what do you see as a consequence for the future? Speaking about the youth, and can we already see what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I think that we must think about also the issue of the mental health. So it becomes very topical in the period and after the period of the crisis and COVID-19. But also, as Dušan mentioned, in these tragic events in Serbia in this month, and all of us must think how to do additional measures, to have long-term measures, not only these which we put in the crisis measures. So, if someone is so much on the machine, as you said, and there is a danger for the mental health to lose the perception of the reality. What does it mean? That, for example, young people, especially, they can think that they can behavior on the reality as they behavior on the internet. And without thinking about the consequences, and that you cannot delete your actions as you can in the games and others. So that is something which is the really bad of the using of the computer and internet. On the other side, we must think about the children and the young generation and their socialization, because they can using so much this kind of the internet and social media, they can withdraw in that virtual world. Why? It's easier. More or less, everything is allowed. You can imagine your world, put your wishes there, and when you come to the reality, in real life, then you can discover the great problems. How to deal with the conflict, how to navigate your life in the real circumstances. This is another bad problem, yes. And of course, the digital technologies and internet are very, very powerful tool for communication. But they can also come in some cases, of course, that the young people less communicate even from that reason. Why? Because they, for example, you always see youngers standing up to each other and looking in this phone or conversating, even they're together through the phone. And this is the problem. What do you think they're doing in their houses with their families? They have the leisure time. If they spend most of that leisure time using the computer on the internet or something, and parents also, who will talk with whom? And how they can have the real life spending together in a good activities. That's also something which we must think.
Yeah, you just mentioned some challenges the children are facing. It's a logical question. What have we done wrong?
You're powerful.
It seems I am.
Strong question.
What have we done? How we failed, or in which area we failed? We as adults, experts, politicians, whatever. And on the other side, what can we do to help them? How can we support them? We don't hear you.
Oh, we
Do you hear me?
Now we do. Yes.
Yes?
Oh.
Now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that the prevention of the negative consequences of the so much using the internet and technological computers and others must cover all level of the society, and they must be involved in the preparing measures and also in implementing measures. I think the different government ministries, of course, peers, young people, parents, teachers, and youth workers, so someone who really work with the young people. For example, I'm coming from the Ministry of Tourism and Youth, and we have the government adopted this year new strategy for youth, and the question of the mental health, of the violence, security, and the question of the digital competencies is the part of that strategy. So all of us together must work how to prevent the negative consequences. For example, every year we did research about the position of the young people. The last data are from 2022. And they said to us that of course, 98% of the young people every day are on the internet. But believe or not, 47% of the young people are looking on TV. Even some of us think the TV is out of data. But no, they are using TV also. And if through this media, the young people and others can be constantly exposed to the violence scenes, to the brutality, or unfortunately sometimes glorification of the bad behavior. What does it mean for young people? They can think that it is the good behavior, or it can come to the threshold of the sensitivity for the reaction. That's really the bad. So what to do? First of all, we must give a chance to the young people to have the good reality, to have the leisure time to spend on the different way, not only using the computer. Of course, that the computer using is very well, but how to use that? How to educate them to have the critical thinking, to be realistic about the things which they saw and when they are gaming. But also out of the computer, how to have the time and the money, or to be for free, which is the best way, like sport activities, recreation, how to glorify through media good examples of the young people. We have so much good examples. We have the biggest actors, musicians. We have the voluntary young people who are doing very good voluntary activities. Heroes, to become the heroes of the young generation. I'm sorry.
It seems that she's powerful, not
She's
me.
powerful.
Thank you a lot, Snežana. Bojana, we heard something about the situation in Serbia, and we heard that reality should bring some additional quality to young people, that real world should have other alternatives. Do you have any information about the region, about other countries? Is there any good examples? Is there anything that we could use, borrow, or apply in Serbia? Can we learn from somebody?
Definitely. Entertainment industry, digital industry generally is a fast-growing industry, and we need to recognize that. And UNICEF globally recognize this as a really important topic, especially considering the strong influence on child rights, child development, and youth and adolescent development. And considering that, UNICEF established Innovation Office and started a virus project globally, in a way try to research and understand positive possibilities, positive options, and as well identified negative effects. So we need to have the whole approach, understand the whole possibility, what we need to use, and based on that, provide clear guidance for industry, for companies, for government, for civil society organizations. So we need to be responsible. Together with the Lego Foundation, UNICEF started a huge project, Responsible Innovation Technology for Children. We want to see how virtual technology, how play and well-being are connected. What are the key components of all of this process, and what we need to especially value in a positive or negative effect as well. So starting for the first of the line, we need to understand that well-being of the child need to be approached holistically. It's not just a one separate element. It's not just related to virtual connection or just to one segment. We are talking about the whole approach and all the elements. On a second level, we are talking about that we need to secure diversity. We need to secure inclusivity as a matter, as an important starting point. There is a lot of the barriers where we are talking about in all of this entertainment industry and the virtual technology, considering there is lack of the cultural contextualization. You know, we are the whole globally world. There is no national barriers when we are talking about the global and virtual industry. And we need to think about this sensitive and a really important topic for young people. As well, we need to think about the costs. because some of these positive opportunities for young people are just available for children for a rich country, not for mid or low-income countries. So we as well forgetting that it's one of the key things for them is socialization and connection. And what we are trying to see and what the children and young people saying to us, they are still seeing the virtual technology and even the social media as some way of making connection stronger, peer connection stronger, to feel belongings, to feel some confidence. And one of the huge outcomes, they see creativity as well. But we do not see neglect, some negative effect, and what we need to do it. On the first place, safety is priority. Safe environment, especially a virtual environment, is something which is the ultimate priority on so many levels. Even the children, we are talking about the content, it needs to be really appropriate for age, children, adolescent, youth age. Even research and their opinion, they're saying that inappropriate content regarding of, I don't know, violence, sex content, bad languages as well, they do not appreciate that. When they come across of that, they're really affected badly on them. So even the children raise a question about that, and we need to manage the time, we need to manage commercials as well, the content, cyberbullying. So there is a huge part of this environment which we need to find a way how to manage and how to approach, because we cannot delete it. We cannot just make this not available for young people. We need to find a way how to make this for them secure and safe. And on the last level, there is a limitation which is related to the physical activities. And this is something what we need to approach and find a way how to find solution and guidance for industry and as well for governments.
Well, it seems that real world failed in a way, because it's obvious that virtual world is the main one for children. It's dominant. So what is missing actually in real world most than anything else in this moment?
Consciousness. People that are aware, right? An inward journey when we start to step out of this egoic mind. This, from my point of view, we're at this spiritual war. This is a spiritual war at the highest level. If you have demonic, evil people at the top with an agenda to basically make things and control people through behavioral science, go look at behavioral science. If you start to understand what that is, how that works, go read a book called Hooked. How to create habit-forming products. And you'll start to see how this game works, right? It's all about making people think. So we need leaders that are conscious enough that understand that we need to reward those conscious leaders for doing the right things for the children. And we've got to be careful of getting into this. Again, I don't mean, I don't want to go into this, but where we start using morals as a way to take down people. We see so much of this where people are so moral, they have so much morals, but it's okay to hate for something because they believe they're so moralistic right. We've got to be very careful of that. And we're seeing a lot of that where people are using morals to basically take down other people and because it makes it right, and people ganging up on stuff. But like, again, all the diversity, all these things that are going on, it's wonderful. I don't know anybody that doesn't want to have an inclusive, diverse, nobody. But when we start using that as a weapon to take down your adversary or anything, that's where we've got to be careful. So we all have to wake up and step out of thought and start becoming more present, and presence will make it happen, because this is real. Because remember, the only thing that's real in all of our lives right now is us talking. Everything else is an illusion. Let me repeat that. Everything else is an illusion. 2 minutes ago, I can't touch, I can't change, I can't move. 2 minutes from now, I can't jog, I can't move, right? So this is it. So more people, the more aware we become and become aware. So spirituality, things that bring us back into an inward journey where we can stop and be aware enough to see what's around, the beauty and the things that are around. That we have to promote. We have to promote that. We've got to get leaders. We got to vote out those guys that are making us great and doing this stuff to us and get down to getting real people in place. If we do that and we start rewarding those people for doing really good work to help really try to make it happen, that's the only way I can see out of it.
Basically, the first thing, as I see it, is to understand that we have a problem, that there is a problem, and for the whole community to understand. And then we need to make leaders, politicians, make companies to use. So how many of you watch Social Dilemma? I presume most of you? No?
Everybody should.
For instance, Social Dilemma, as same as our kids read Dostoevsky in schools or whatever in some other countries, they need to see that movie. And then we need to have talks about that movie, the same that we have about the literature. And we need to speak about that. We need to put emotional intelligence in school, finally. And to speak about compassion and to speak about those things.
Passion,
and then,
gratefulness.
if you watch The Social Dilemma, you have the highest paid and biggest mind in the world working to get our kids addicted to phones. So their only agenda is to put their brilliant minds to make kids addicted to phones. So just imagine if tobacco industry was putting more nicotine or more something even much more dangerous than nicotine into cigarettes. How we would regulate this? Very harshly. So we need to make companies to direct those greatest minds into actually giving us solutions how to protect children from digital dependency and addiction.
Conscious leaders.
Until we don't have conscious leaders, conscious people needs to make
That's
leaders.
why us. There's more of us than them, right?
What
So
can,
we
what
have
can
to stand
exit
up and
do?
rise.
We are listening a lot about social activism, and as Scott said, we need to step out. We need to show that we are conscious. What can exit do?
From the beginning of talks about Web3, and Exit was actually one of the first festivals. So we are not somebody that says, oh no, the digital world is dangerous and we don't want to step into that. No, on the contrary, we were one of the first festivals. Coachella and Exit were the first festivals that had NFT collections. But what we are preaching is that that we want to bring kids back from digital world into the real life experience. So for instance, when we dropped that NFT collection, they were all tied with the real life experience. So okay, have fun in digital world, but then get back to the real, go back to real world. And that's why this Life is Live is actually the name of this panel is the name of the campaign that we will launch this year together with the UNICEF and hopefully government of Serbia as well. And it will be adopted on a European level. So European Festival Association will adopt and promote this platform that we basically want to explain what you're saying, how beautiful life is. Can you eat the meal from the phone? No, you have to taste it, you know? Yeah, you can't smell it. Can you touch the person you love through screen? No. You know, real life is not replaceable. So that's what we want to teach the youth.
As far as I hear things that you're saying, you're talking about some systematic approach to the issue.
That is what we need, and especially after last week's tragedy, now we all understand that we need the whole society put in action on this, whole society. So the politicians, NGOs, musicians, everybody. That is the only solution.
So we have to join our forces.
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. I think the first thing is people need to see it. That's what's good about Social Dilemma, right? Because once you see it, then when you're doing it, you recognize what's happening to you, right? So I think, just making me think of it, we need to come up with those campaigns like Social Dilemma and make that prerequisite so that people understand every time they look at this thing and they open it up, what is actually happening. That's why when you go look at that book, Hooked, it shows you it's a 4-pattern trigger that just connects you using behavioral science that takes you over. and makes this thing become the addict thing. Now, as a business guy, what are you trying to do? You're trying to build your business, grow your business, get users on, so you use the hook model because it's how you get people on. Well, it's great for business, but the problem is it's having detrimental effects on everybody at a level we've never seen before. And the only way we're going to do is we got to get people, first of all, to recognize what happens every time they open that machine and what it actually does, so that the parents can now start to bring back their children. Because it's really going to start, the parents have to take control of this, of the children. It's your child, you have to take control. You got to be careful. That's why I love the idea of non-centralized education, because that's when it gets indoctrinated. You can just start putting in somebody's thinking, right, that they want you to all know, right? So we need to get that out, the parents. We got to get the family unit together. That's got to happen, and they got to learn and get educated about what happens when you pick this thing up. Hey, I looked at my screen time. It was 12 hours and 47 minutes yesterday, right? I'm addicted to it, but I use it for my business, but I know when they're taking me over. Just because I'm aware of what's happening, I can see what's going on and the way they're triggering things and understanding. So we just need to first wake up. I think big campaigns that would basically get people to go watch this. This is what happens when you use this thing, right? What's happening? Because we all talk about the good stuff. And now we're at the point where we were talking about this a while ago. This isn't new. This has been, anybody in this game has been in it a long time, but remember, we have the human condition. Greed, money, how do I make money? How do I hook people? How do I do this? We're now at a point where you're seeing the entire planet is waking up right now, right? We're in so many ways. So this is our time, folks. We've got a shot here. We got to make it happen.
It seems that we are going to wake up also. I would like to thank you all. And if I may say in the end, it seems that the matter of balance between real and other world, that's something that we need, and it's up to us adults to go out with good solutions, with a good strategy that can be adopted also by children, because we can't accept children to take the responsibility for things that are happening, and that's going to be, and things that will be happening in the future. So virtual world and real world are not good or bad per se, I would say, as long as we know how to combine and use them. Thank you very much.
More meditation. More meditation. Sit down every day. Get touch with it, right?
What up? Thank you very much to our panel.
Yeah, we can have the louder music in the house. This was the amazing last session of Tomorrow Conference in Belgrade 2023. Thank all the panelists and the moderator. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So many people walked on this stage. We had an astronaut coming from the Mars.
It was absolutely amazing. It was amazing. By the way, we've got a couple of people that we need to bring on stage. Very hard-working person.
Program director.